Hello, welcome to Local Anesthetic Podcast, your regular injection of mind-numbing local news. This is episode 377 now, and it is, of course, Rob, our hallowed Christmas episode that, of course, takes place once a year. Be odd if it took place more than that, or if it didn't take place at all, although that would probably be a preference for me. But ho, 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 everybody. Merry Christmas and all the rest of that razzmatazz. And it's a listener story special, Rob, which makes it even better. So we are just featuring stories from our listeners. How are you, Rob? Apart from, it's freezing. Like the day we're recording today, right now it's -4 where I am.
Yeah, well, ho, 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 listeners. Can I say ho, ho, holy shit, is it cold outside? Alex, I thank the Lord God that we don't live in a first world country that's due to an ongoing crisis, cost of living crisis. People are being forced into fuel poverty and having to make the choice between heating their homes and eating. Luckily, that's not happening. Well, at least if you're a Tory, that's not happening. But yeah, Alex, the last couple of days have been exceptionally cold. I think, I'm about -4, -5. It's kind of how you'd imagine like a Christmas scene, because there's this ice everywhere. There's, as I said to you this morning, there was cobwebs in the garden that have sort of developed overnight, and there's icicles hanging off the cobwebs. It's very sort of picturesque and very sort of your traditional sort of Christmas card scene, but it's cold, Alex.
It is. I think that's a good summary, Rob. It is remarkable to think that there will be people out there right now who we know. I was shocked when I went into work recently that some of my colleagues were saying that, you just, as I said, I understand, I don't know what the answer is, but not putting the heating on. In this weather, you'll get very, very sick. Listen, but it's pure. One of the things that interests me, Rob, whenever I read about heating and stuff like that, is that, the average sort of ambient temperature in UK homes, like back in the 50s, was like 12, or like, I don't know, like when my parents were growing up or their parents were growing up, it was like 12 degrees. It's like, that's what they were used to, But then again, people died younger, Rob, Look, I feel,
which let's face it, would ease the burden on the NHS. So maybe that's one way to do it. Maybe we should revert to like, what's the film that features the carousel? Logan's Run. You get to the age of 35 and you're killed.
Do you think, though, that's partly why people like Jacob Rees-Mogg wanted us to turn to sort of Dickensian England? Because the idea was, well, at least it would sort of cull the population somewhat.
Yeah, and the rich live for longer because they had a better standard of living. Yeah, that could be right, Alex. Yeah, never thought like that. But yeah, that's a good point.
Is there any news, Rob, before we crack on with our listener story special?
Just a few things. First of all was one I mentioned to you during the week. It features a story that goes back to some way. So Peter's still on his epic quest through the back catalogue. He did have a bit of a break, but has now redoubled his efforts and has just made it past episode 200. And in episode 202, stumbled across a story from the Daily Echo. This was from the 23rd of January 2017. And the headline is, Dad's disgust at feces left on baby swing in Northbourne Park.
I remember that story, yes. Yeah, he was not happy. No, who would be? Shit all over a swing.
It is literally, and they're just quite obviously a turd on a swing. And anyway, the dad featured in the story was actually his wedding planner, which I find slightly hilarious. Sorry, go back.
Peter's wedding planner was the guy who featured in this story that he happened to be listening to from our archives.
Correct, yes. Yeah.
That's a definition of a small world, isn't it? That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And I think, as soon as he saw the name, he recognised him, and obviously he's from Blandford, which is the area where the wedding took place. Anyway, so let's move on from there. Just also... I think we've already mentioned it on the extra podcast, but Face of Strange has been at it again, and sent us a very, frankly, disturbing image, really, which obviously relates to the Gimp Man stories. So there's, I'm going to have to put it on the Facebook page, aren't I? You've seen it, Alex. What do you make of it?
I want you to describe it for the listener.
Well, it's both Alex and I dressed in Gimp costumes. It's quite clear. I'm on all fours with a harness and dog lead around my neck, and Alex, Well, he's obviously taken me for a walk, quite frankly. And I basically replied to Face of Stranger saying, I don't need this first thing in the morning, to which he responded, walkies and pop-ins can't have you doing your business in the house. I don't think that's needed, to be honest. But so yeah, if you want to see what Alex and I look like as gimps, well,
I'm not a gimp in the picture, am I?
Yes, Alex, you're also in a gimp outfit. Did you miss that? We both are.
Well, you looked a bit more gimpy than I did. I think you suited it more.
Well, also, I don't know why. I feel that I'm, given the more slender, I mean, obviously it's not my body, but the image that Alex, that Face of Stranger has chosen, I think you are the man in this situation because there's a bit of paunch there. And I don't know, the other person, obviously me, has a slightly more feminine, slender physique. So I think that, anyway, look, I'm not going to take assign sort of gender roles to this, but that's my reading of it. And the very last thing is Kyber has done some epic work, and if anyone is interested, you can actually follow the Gimp Man of Essex on Instagram. So he's at Gimp Man of Essex, all one word, and you can follow his antics around Colchester. I mean, Alex, he's got 2,238 followers.
Well, it just shows, all this, you think all the hard work we put in, Rob, and all you've got to do is stick on a gimp outfit and wander around Essex. You can also find him, of course, on followthegimp.com. That's good to know. But in terms of news, that's it for this year. All right, Rob, let's get on with our Christmas listener story special, and I've got a couple here from Face of Strange. Now, look. The first story is awful. Absolutely awful, whichever way you look at it. But I couldn't help find some humour in it, and I know it's wrong. But the thing is, Rob, human beings can't help. It's one of the things we can't help. It's hardwired into us to find amusing on some level, because it's like something out of the Fast Show or something like that. So this is actually from LBC. Okay. From the 10th of November 2022. Headline, it's by Will Taylor, sorry. Shocking footage shows dog dragged by lead behind mobility scooter as onlookers fear pet will be killed. Now, right. I think what I will do is just play the audio. Obviously, we can't do the video. You can go and look at it yourself, listeners. Well, you must see it. I'll play the audio, Rob. Can you look at the video while I do that for the listeners? Rob, sure. If you put into Google, shocking footage, dog dragged by lead, LBC. Okay, Alex, I've got the story. I'm just loading up as we speak. Okay, I'm going to press play. This video contains disturbing images, right?
You're hurting your dog? You're hurting the dog? You're hurting your dog?
That's,
You're hurting the dog? The dog's dead. You're hitting the curb.
Alex,
bro, the dog's gonna die, bro.
That's truly appalling. That dog is clearly in some distress.
Well, it's basically it's a woman on a mobility scooter with a dog attached to a lead, and the dog has given up walking. It's just on its stomach being dragged along the ground. And she doesn't care, Rob, does she?
No. If there was, I'm guessing the people who are trying to draw her attention to this are in a car, but at no stage does she even bother to turn around to see if the dog is in any sort of discomfort or distress. She just continues on a mobility scooter.
If I was in the car riding alongside her, I think I would have taken her out, Rob. Sideswiped her. Yeah, I think so, Alice. You basically, I think you'll be in your right mind just to swerve into her and just knock her clean off a mobility scooter. Exactly. Maybe even put the dog on the scooter and put her on the lead and then let the dog drive it. Now, by the way, Rob, have you noticed a new thing now on local news websites, which as soon as you visit them, you probably don't get this because you're probably signed into all Google services, but you get this pop-up now that comes up on everything saying, do you want to sign into Google and view this page, via Yeah, I do still get that. There's usually two pop-ups. There's the sign-in pop-up, and there's also saying, do you want to add this to your homepage, or do you want to add this to your desktop? And in both cases, the answer to that is no. I just want to say live, well, it doesn't really matter because it's past that time now, but Devon roads, Rob, are impassable after snow and ice fall. Right, Rob, listen. In the great tradition of local anaesthetic covering animal stories, which is a lot of where we really started, wasn't it? In the sense that local news has always had a penchant for animal stories, good and bad. And Face is Strange, another story by him, which is going to lead into a bit of a theme. So sorry if I'm sort of taking over a bit at the moment, but it's just because we've got to keep this thematically linked. This is by Alex Davis, who is a community reporter, Rob, for the Devon Live.
Right.
Headline, this is from the 22nd November. Headline, North Devon pub held to ransom over theft of stuffed animal, in quotes, last seen in Kent.
Right, okay, brilliant.
A beloved, spelt wrong. Spelt wrong.
Great, good start.
Spelt wrong, 2 V's and 2 E's, Rob.
Maybe we just
beloved.
Maybe just leaning on the keyboard.
He's pissed. A beloved North Devon pub is pleading, Rob, with locals to donate a, in quotes, stuffed stoat or weasel for their Christmas tree after its beloved taxidermy animal was stolen this year. Can I just say, I quite like as our Christmas episode title, Beloved Taxidermy Animal.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, was this all substituted for the star on the tree?
I think so, Rob. Boris the Stoat had lived at the Baltimore Arms, yard down, for decades and was well known for appearing in strange locations. When Devon Live spoke to Steve in 2020, he was videoed stuck to the ceiling. I'm looking at a picture of that now. He's hanging off a sort of lamp fitting.
Right, okay.
But has been found in nearby trees and barns. Although he was found in various locations during the year, Boris found a place at the top of the pub's Christmas tree every year since 2013. Steve Cotton, landlord of the Baltimore Arms, said Boris was stolen 6 months ago and the kidnappers have sent a series of ransom notes attempting to make a deal for his return. He said he's named after Boris Johnson. I think he looks like Boris in many ways. A lovable rogue and a bit weaselly, and weasels and stoats are pretty much the same. I hope... I
think a weasel and stoat aren't the same. I think they are different animals, but...
Well, that's not the bit I'm worried about, Rob. It's just...
Okay.
Seeing somebody very dangerous as Boris Johnson as a lovable rogue and a bit weaselly. I mean, this is why we're in the problems we're in.
Yeah, good point, Alex.
Yeah, Keir Starmer's a bit boring, isn't he?
Yeah, boring, but ultimately a better candidate for Prime Minister. Just put it out in there.
Anyway, it was here when I first took over 10 years ago. He was on the plinth. He didn't look very happy, so we took him off there. He stuck him on the Christmas tree. Since then, it somehow finds its way around the pub. It's never in the same place when you get up in the morning. We had some blokes come down to do a stag do 6 months ago. They took Boris and have been sending us ransom notes ever since. There's a picture of him in fever, dancing with young girls, all kind of things. Last time we got a picture of him, he was in a pub in Kent. I like the idea there might be an update with the last place he's been seen is in bed with Nigel Farage.
I just imagine that at some stage there's going to be a picture of him just, safely positioned between two butt cheeks.
Well, Rob, the 17th century public house has gained a reputation as the country's, in quotes, maddest pub after landlord Steve Cotton took over in 2013. The pub sits 3.5 miles from the nearest town and has no mains, electricity, water or gas. Yes, right. Rob's found that out.
Okay, great.
Fucking freezing. Right, but Rob, Boris's disappearance is the second tragedy to hit the Baltimore Arms this year. In June, the pub was hit by tragedy after Steve's famous pub cat, Hitler, was killed by a passing car, leading to loving tributes by residents and celebrities. He's welcomed. Yeah, he named the cat Hitler. He's welcomed a new cat to his pub in July, named Osama bin Yardi Down, in tribute to the pub's co-landlord. I don't want to read about this dickhead anymore. He says Osama's getting on fantastically.
Great.
But yeah, our commenter does say, beloved is this Devonshire dialect. Now, this has continued a theme, Rob, amongst our loyal listeners here. So I believe it was Khyber who took up the baton, and he said he was going to have a look into sort of animal-related pub stories from over the years. That,
Great! I love it.
We may have missed. So this is from CNN. This is from November the 2nd, 2022, by Ben Church. Animal rights organisation criticises trainer for parading racehorse in pub. It's not what you
Alex,
do. Rob.
no, hang on. If you have a prime example of a horse with a racing pedigree, why wouldn't you want to show it off in your local pub? I think, why the hell not? What's wrong with that? Take it for a pint, get it a bit of shandy or something.
Exactly. A leading animal rights organisation has criticised an Irish racehorse trainer for parading his winning steed in a pub earlier this week. On Monday, John, aka Shark Hanlon, posted a video.
Okay.
Yeah, the name's fine. John, but my friends call me Shark.
Alex, I don't want to be disparaging about the beautiful country of Ireland or its people, but I can imagine this kind of thing happens quite frequently. Horses and pubs. I don't know. It feels like the kind of thing that would happen in Ireland.
Well, kind of related to that, Rob. CNN is an American news organisation, right? There's a picture of the man in the pub with his horse. What people don't realise is that, I think they didn't realise, is the horse is likely his wife. Not that unusual.
Right, yeah. This is just a night out, Alex. It wasn't anything special about it.
No. So on Monday, John the Shark Hanlon posted a video on Twitter of him leading US Grand National winner, Hewick, into a pub as part of the horse's homecoming celebrations. Hewick had won the lucrative race with a purse prize of $500,000 in New Jersey on October the 15th before returning to Ireland. The video shows Hannon walking into the busy pub with a 7-year-old horse before customers fell quiet and started taking pictures. I just wanted to be clear that when I said that this horse was likely his wife earlier, 7-year horse years is obviously different than 7 human years. I don't know what that would correspond to, but it's probably a more appropriate age to be marrying a horse. Yeah,
what you're saying is that from a legal standpoint,
I'm not accusing him.
No, yeah. No, I think
nothing he's done. His marriage to the horse is in no way illegal. That's what I wanted to
although technically speaking, marriage to a horse is illegal, but in terms of
not in
consent.
Not in Ireland.
That's sorry.
Is it?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
However, animal rights organisation People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, sticking their nose in again, told CNN that the publicity stunt wasn't done for Hewick's benefit. Horses are not show-and-tell playthings, Rob. They're sensitive animals who are easily spooked. Anyone with a scintilla of respect for horses knows that a rowdy, cramped pub with an obvious exit is a stressful... Hang on. Anyone with a scintilla of respect for horses knows that a rowdy, cramped pub without an obvious exit is a stressful and dangerous environment for them. Now, Rob, we've been doing this for a long time. Your feelers are out just as much as I am. A rowdy, cramped pub without an obvious exit is the episode title, and a metaphor for the current state of Britain. No?
You're absolutely right, Alex. Yeah, I could not agree more. Beautiful.
This PETA continue in their statement. This was done for a cheap laugh, perhaps to distract punters from the fact that trainers are still whipping horses, risking catastrophic injuries and running them to death just for a chance at the prize money. Lighten up, PETA. It's just a race.
Yeah, they really are killjoys, aren't they? Come on, it's Christmas.
Yeah, next they're going to be complaining about that dog that was being dragged behind a mobility scooter.
Absolutely. Well, the dog was just enjoying a nice ride on the floor.
The dog was being lazy. Could have quite easily got up and ran along after it.
True.
In a statement to CNN, Hanlon responded to PETA's criticism by saying, "Oh, fuck off." He said everything was double checked before the horse entered the pub. He said, "Henwick is a very safe horse. You could nearly call him a pet. He doesn't buck or kick."
In bed.
When bringing him into the pub, we double checked everything was safe. We brought him in, turned him around and walked out with him. Hanlon, who in the video looked to keep the horse calm, also asked for a pint of Guinness. Another video shows the drink being put to the horse's lips, so she got a taste of the Guinness too.
Lovely.
On Tuesday,
lovely.
John Hanlon Racing tweeted a picture of Hewick, in his stable with the caption reading, "He's not very drunk, from the small bit of foam he didn't even drink because he had his lips closed." Hewick was among the favourites to win the US Grand National last month and produced an impressive performance to run clear of the pack. But the viral video of him going to this pub, Rob, has attracted more than 500,000 views on Twitter, drawing both criticism and support. "He looks terrified," one social media user wrote, while another tweeted, "Why would it be terrified? It's used to being around large, cheering crowds. That wouldn't bother a horse." So, Rob, take your pick there of who you're going to side with. Now, to finish, on this theme. It's another story by Khyber doing his research. This is by Sean McPolin. It's from the Kent Online, news you can trust, from the 25th of November 2022. And Rob, it's not a long story, but it's a necessary story. Headline,
Okay.
Animal welfare investigation at the Bull Inn pub in East Farleigh, which closed without explanation.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
A pub which closed is being investigated over animal welfare concerns. It has been confirmed. Officers from Maidstone Council along with police were called to the Bull Inn last Thursday as part of an ongoing probe. It follows calls from concerned neighbours first logged in the summer. Now, this story, Rob, has the whiff of Eagle Heights about it when I read the next sentence. The pub, which was home to a petting zoo with ponies, goats, ducks, rabbits and more, is understood to have been closed for several weeks.
Okay.
Neighbours were in the dark as to why it stopped trading, and a sign outside was still advertising a free buffet to watch the Queen's funeral back in September. Sorry, you want? Can I just say another great episode title is a free buffet to watch the Queen's funeral? Oh, Rob, that's good too, isn't it?
That is really good. And I think quite topical. Well, relatively topical.
I still like the last one though.
Yeah. Oh, what? Again, Alex, why did the pub need a petting zoo? Was it in the pub or was it at the back of the pub?
Rob, we all like.
Was it just a room off the main bar?
We all like a feel of an animal from time to time, Rob. A council spokesman said on November 17th our animal licensing inspector and other officers from the community protection team attended a property in East Farleigh in connection with an ongoing animal welfare investigation. The team was supported by officers from Kent Police. The council confirmed that only animals at the Lower Road pub at the time of the visit were fish in a pond.
It's good to know, yeah.
I think I'm missing a sentence here because I remember reading. Right, so basically, Rob, we don't know what the fuck happened to these other animals. And I'm looking at a picture of a very sort of dirty, horrendous pond with what looks like fish in it. The fish's welfare, Rob, as well as the water quality were checked. The Kent investigation is ongoing. Now, Rob, it's the comments which make this story because we kind of have a review here.
Oh, brilliant.
This is by R08D81K, who writes, took our kids back here in the summer based off a social media advert / post. The post was misleading, showing numerous animals that were not present when we went there.
Oh.
The only animals physically there were chickens and rabbits overcrowded in tiny cages. A dirty pond was also nearby. The animal cages were next to an overfilled skip.
Okay, I'm getting a picture now, right.
There were only a handful of pub garden benches with stalls nearby selling overpriced junk. A barbecue was in the pub garden where all the food was so overpriced it was ridiculous. If memory serves me correct, a hot dog was £7.50.
Jesus.
A bouncy castle was also present for kids to play on, which was filled with stagnant water and moss. No one from the pub was bothered by the state of the bouncy castle. After being shocked at the state of what was on offer compared to the advert, we decided to grab a drink at least before leaving. The queue for the bar was 15 minutes, as only one poor bar staff was working. When we ordered, all the soft drinks, lemonade, coke, etc. were poured from multi-pack do-not-sell bottles, which were flat. My pint of Moretti tasted as if the pipes had not been cleaned since pre-lockdown. The drinks got left, and despite the kids being upset, we chose to leave. This article is not at all surprising. Knackers writes, Rob, might there be a link between the disappeared animals and the Queen's buffet?
That's a very good question.
Okay, Rob, as I have to say, are you feeling it with all this lovely Christmas music I've had on in the background, Rob? Are you feeling, is it warming your cockles?
It's slightly, yeah. I mean, it's very difficult to do with this kind of weather, but yeah. I mean, Alex, I've been feeling Christmassy for a couple of weeks now. I mean, I do enjoy.
You've been feeling Christmassy since January, Rob?
Yeah, well, as I enjoy Christmas, I'm full of the Christmas spirit. Yeah, there is something about this time of year that I really do enjoy. I mean, I think it's definitely the run up to Christmas that's more that gets me in the spirit more than anything else, because Christmas Day is also let down. Boxing Day is just like a non-event, and then you're left with the the prospect of the coming year. But at least I enjoy Advent.
Listen, have you got some listener stories? Who are they from?
Yeah, so the first one is from Steve. I don't know quite how he found the story.
Sorry, Rob, I should also say you're also the only grown adult I know who every year routinely has for themselves an advent calendar, and I respect that, Rob.
I actually have 2 this year. That's completely true. Would you like to know what they are?
This year?
Yes. I decided to hark back to the days of my childhood when I never had a chocolate advent calendar until much later in life. So I have a religious calendar.
Is that true?
Yes, that is absolutely true.
One?
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So I have a religious calendar just to bring back the memories of my childhood, which I'm very much enjoying, and also I have a lint calendar as well, to balance and contrast.
Okay.
Larry doesn't have one just out of interest. It's just me and Sarah. Anyway, this is again absolutely true. So again, I don't know how Steve found this story because it's from a website called IFL Science, which is a scientific website covering humans.
Maybe Steve is a scientist.
Maybe so. I know what Steve does for a job, and I mean it is technically related to because one of the categories is health and medicine. So there's maybe sort of a tangent there. There's also nature, science and physics, technology, and multimedia. So anyway, look, this is from the 12th of October this year, 2022, by Charlie Haig, and the headline is "Fat Bear."
Any relation to William?
I don't know. It's different spelling. I think it's Haig. Haigh. Haig.
Is William Hague named after the Hague, the famous court, or is the Hague named after William, or is there no connection whatsoever?
I think it's probably the latter. But good, it's worth considering. I suppose, yeah, it doesn't matter. Right, anyway, so Fat Bear Week 2022 winner triumphs despite voter fraud scandal.
What?
I know, by the way, I know it's a very enigmatic headline, I'll be completely honest, but the story is good. So, the votes are finally in, and Bear 742's chunky folds have seen him officially crowned winner of Fat Bear Week 2022.
Fat Bear Week? Where is this, sorry?
This is in Alaska.
Fat Bear Week. Right, okay. So it's like a pageant, beauty pageant, and then you get to go home with the bear.
So basically what it is, bears obviously piling on the pounds over like the winter period so they can hibernate, and apparently they have a competition whereby they have submissions for the fattest bear. So that's what we're looking at here. Unsurprisingly, the unit is a veteran champion, having won the title back in 2020. However, this victory was almost a near miss for 747, as his semi-final title was almost snatched from his paws due to the spate of malicious voter fraud. Since
we know, Rob, can I just say, we know, I mean, voter fraud is a huge problem in the United States. We of course know that, the election was stolen from Donald Trump by egregious voter fraud. I'm talking about people voting, Rob, who were dead. People vote like illegal immigrants voting. I mean, that country is just awash with, because there's so much legal voting, Rob. That's how Donald Trump got in the first place. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
Country was plagued by, because it makes complete sense, doesn't it, that a country riven with voter fraud would have voted him in the first place.
Yeah, and so it's bizarre that they wouldn't be able to do that again the following year. It is baffling. But back to the world of reality where this actually happened. Since his first victory 2 years ago, 747 is dominating the feeding grounds of the Katmai National Park and Preserve in Alaska. He is now considered one of the largest brown bears on Earth, with his estimated weight for this year racking up to an astonishing 636 kilograms, which is 1,400 pounds. So he is really...
Do you know what that is in stone? Work it out for us.
Yeah, hang on.
You're making those noises again. You made those in the last LA Extra. On the Patreon.
That is... oh, Jesus. So, of course, it's 10... it's obviously £10 to the... £14 to a stone. He is 100 stone, Alex.
That's quite heavy.
It is quite heavy. So despite winning by an impressive 11,229 votes against his competitor, the relatively puny...
What do you mean votes? Hang on, when you say votes, surely, what's the need for votes? Surely the scales don't lie. Why do you need votes?
Well,
like people are looking at these bears like they're sort of pageants and going, oh yeah, that's the fat one.
I think that's it, Alex. I think they are... You vote for who you want to win. But as you rightly say, it seems redundant when if one's heavier, then that will be the clear winner, surely. Who knows? But yeah, so against his competitor, the relatively puny 901, 747 rise to the top wasn't without its hardships. So the Katmai National Park official Twitter announced on Monday that fraudulent votes had skewed the polls for a semi-final match between the 747 and 435, incorrectly crowning 435 as the winner.
Why are they all given numbers as names? It's a bit sort of impersonal and a bit sort of commodifying them almost. Yeah, that's number 345. You can go in with her or him.
I think it's one of those things. If you give it a name, people then feel that they're more lovable creatures. If you keep it as a number, there's a good chance people will still sort of keep their distance, and also make them aware that, you know, if you come up against a 100-stone bear, to not engage with it. I may be wrong, but that's my thinking. A bear that's called 747, you instantly think that, you know, weighs as much as a commercial airliner, so probably shouldn't be tallied with.
Yep. No, that's the logic is sound.
Thank you. So whilst the fat bear community was rattled, the Katmai National Park resolved the fraudulent submissions, and upon tallying the new figures, awarded 747 his rightful spot in the final. Fat Bear Week is the annual celebration of brown bears' impressive ability to pile on the pounds ahead of their big winter hibernation. The competitive sport puts legendary chonks and fan favourites head-to-head in a showdown to see who can gain the most weight, putting the vote to the public to decide who's the biggest and the best. So that's that story there. Moving on, my next story was sent in by Kyber. It is from the BBC's website from the 11th of November. This did have a bit of traction in national news, but the headline is man ends 20-year-old Llandegli, I think that's how you pronounce it, it's in Wales, Llandegli airport sign joke that cost £25,000. Are you aware of the story, Alex?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So this is by Sue Charles. So a man who spent £25,000 on a fake airport sign in mid-Wales is bringing a joke to an end after 20 years.
Oh yeah, I do remember this. But I can't remember it. But this is ringing bells. Christmas bells, Rob.
It's a good story, Alex. So for the past 2 decades, a billboard in the Llandegli International, a billboard for Llandegli International has been a landmark near the Paris village. It looks like an ordinary road sign, but actually signposts to an airport that only exists in people's imaginations. After spending thousands of pounds to erect it and maintain the sign, the owner has decided it's time to take it down. So since 2002, if you travel eastwards along the A44 between Rydder and Kington, you will see a sign directing to you to Terminals 1 and 3 of the Llandegli International Airport. But drive 2.5 miles as instructed, and you end up not on an airport, but not even an airfield, but just a field on the outskirts of the village of Llandegli in Paris.
And there is no airport, I'm assuming.
No, it's just a field, yeah.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. That's like I like those kind of. I mean, it could be a bit. Could it be dangerous? I don't know. Who in their right? You think you'd know about if an airport existed or not before you tried to travel to it?
You would think so.
Look, there's a.
Well, you can't buy tickets to it, so you're not going onto Skyscanner and trying to buy tickets to a fictional airport. So yeah, I can't see what harm it would really do. Anyway, the man behind it, Nicholas Whitehead, is a journalist used to edit the Radnor edition of the Beacon and Radnor Express. And Alex, this is a lovely fact. And once wrote with Monty Python's Terry Jones.
That is a lovely fact, right? Well, that shows why this is very Monty Python sense of humour, I would say.
Yeah, good point, yeah. He said it started off as a wild conversation with friends one evening. We thought of renting a sign for something that wasn't really there, possibly a project that didn't exist. We set it on the airport. It started off as a bit of a joke. Then we realised it was actually possible. It was made by Wrexham Signs, given the okay, and one thing led to another. Mr. Whitehead added, as a journalist, whatever you do, someone, somewhere is going to get upset about it, which I think is a fair point.
Can I just make the point? I'm sorry to sort of burst this balloon. Isn't it illegal to put up fake road signs? Like, I can't just at the end of my road. I'd like there to be less traffic on my road, but I can't just put a no entry sign at the end.
I think there are specific. So you can't use specific fonts and certain types of signage, if that makes sense. So like motorway signs have to be blue, for example, with like white text. I think if you were to mimic that, I think that is a criminal offence. But I think this case,
it's got to be a criminal offence even if you put up any other sign pretending that your road is, I don't know. If I put up a sign not in their font and style saying that it's actually 10 miles an hour, that's illegal.
Yeah, that could be true. I don't know, Alex, but look, the main thing to say is the people of the town of Llandegli really do enjoy it. Apparently, it's becoming a tourist attraction. Now, just to move this on a bit, it does cost £1,500 per year. I mean, the fact he's kept it going for 20 years is quite.
Why does it cost? Why does it cost? Sorry, I'm confused. Why does a sign cost money to keep there every year? It's not doing anything.
No, but I think you need to maintain it. So you need to replace some of the lettering, maybe, and maybe just keep it clean, that kind of thing.
So, but how does that come to £1,500 a year?
I don't know, Alex. It doesn't actually say.
Is this one of our new Tory tax rises? Sign tax.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this is Wales, so hopefully, he does say that he helps the Welsh. He does hope that the Welsh government heritage body, which I think is Cadw, may be interested in taking it over. It could become a listed sign, Alex.
Right. Okay. What a jape.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I mean, the story does go on. It is quite a lengthy story, so fair play for that. Get down there this year, just so you can see the sign before it disappears.
Okay, Rob, well, look, let's just, before we get on, I know you've prepared a Christmas quiz for us, which I'm very much looking forward to. Finishing, I mean, look, he's submitted a lot of stories. I mean, he always does. We have to select the best, and Kaiba, you often come up with the best. This is from the Northern Echo. It's by Daniel Horden, who is their reporter for the Northeast from the 4th of December. What an extraordinary story this is, Rob. Wingate grave blunder report. Perfect storm led to Bell mix-up. Now, the headline isn't very good, I must say. But it's
confusing, Alex, I'll be honest. Yeah, confusing.
Well, just wait, Rob, for the for the kind of like, what's it called? There is a technical name, isn't there, for the first paragraph of a story that sort of summarises it again. But I don't know what it is.
It's the summary?
We should know. No, there's a specific journo term. But anyway, Rob, prepare yourself for this sentence.
Okay.
We like our dark humour. A report into the shocking blunder which saw a County Durham family visit someone else in their dad's grave for 17 years has uncovered a perfect storm of circumstances which led to the mix-up.
There's something about the term as well, perfect storm of circumstances, which I do like.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus Christ, that's awful, Alex.
Yes. In July, the Northern Echo exposed how the Bell family discovered they had been visiting the wrong grave after the death of Mum Hilda, whose last wishes were to be buried alongside her doting husband Thomas. That doting husband Thomas, Rob, is a descendant, just if you wanted to know, of doubting Thomas.
It's I mean, it says a lot about Alex when I'd obviously have that same thought, and it
really.
But again, it's so niche. Anyway.
Thomas and Hilda's relatives endured a painful 6-week wait to bury their mum, while gravediggers dug up 11 plots and uncovered several errors at the Holy Trinity Church, Wingate, in finding their father's resting place.
Several.
Yeah, many others. Yeah. Now, report. Do you remember that brilliant story, Rob, I had about the church graveyard out in the middle of the countryside somewhere that had been converted into a car park, and people were just parking over gravestones? Do you remember that?
Jesus, yes, I do.
That was a great story. Now a report into the distressing blunder has described a perfect storm of errors which led to the mistake happening. It identified insufficient process and poor record keeping when Thomas Bell was buried in 2005, which led to his headstone being placed on the wrong grave. No marker was placed on Thomas's grave following his burial, nor did anyone from the church attend while his gravestone was put in place to make sure it was in the correct place. Former Reverend Martin Vasey, who retired in 2007, also, in quotes, did not keep records to the extent that would be considered best practice.
So, sorry, Alex, did you say 2005? I mean, if it was in like if it was like the late maybe 1800s, I can kind of understand that. But in a day where you can access I don't know, an Excel spreadsheet, this seems negligent. I'll be honest.
Well, the month-long investigation conducted by Archdeacon of Sunderland, Bob Cooper. I love that. Cemetery detective. Archdeacon of Sunderland, Bob Cooper. That could be a new ITV drama. You just call it Cooper.
Can I just say, by the way, that there is something that people are going to watch because it's utterly unique. Yeah, the Archbishop of Sunderland.
Archdeacon of Sunderland, Bob Cooper. Bobby Cooper.
I'm just imagining swanning into a country pub in all his garb, rose blowing in the wind. I need to find Mr. Jones. He's not in his fucking grave. Tell me where he is.
I'd watch it. We might get a bit old after one episode.
Yeah. Just imagine he bursts the door of the pub. He spots the gravedigger in the corner, has him pinned up against the wall, threatening him with a shovel.
Anyway, he says that while it cannot be guaranteed historic cases like this will not reoccur, there was a series of lessons to be learned. It's one of my favourite phrases, this, Rob, after Scandal, that we will learn. Nobody's ever held accountable. It's always that lessons are to be learned. The Durham Diocese has now recommended that all parishes carry out a review of their record-keeping procedures and implement new protocol for burials. I've just got this image, Rob, of a lot of panicked vicars sort of going out to their cemeteries in the dead of night with a couple of boys with some shovels. We just got to check that all the people are in the right places there.
But Alex, how are you going to do that? I mean, because in most cases, some of these coffins will have deteriorated over time, and unless you can find I don't know, the little plaque on the front that identifies them, how are you going to know whether you got the right corpse in the right plot?
This could be a scandal, Rob. The report also said that all grave records should be stored electronically and graves marked immediately after burials with photographs taken to record their location.
Sorry,
the Durham Diocese said it would.
Alex, you shouldn't have to tell people that these records should be stored electronically. They shouldn't be written on the back of a receipt and just left in the bottom of a cupboard. Just a thought.
The Durham Diocese said it would not be commenting further on the findings of its investigation. Gravedigger John Davies, who who uncovered the shocking error when he went to prepare Hilda's grave, was praised in the report for his efforts in finding Thomas Bell's resting place. Thomas was eventually found to have been buried just 2 metres away from where his family believed he'd been buried for 17 years, and Hilda was finally buried alongside her husband in a burial service on August the 12th, almost 2 months after her June 16th death. In September, the Bell family received an apology in the House of Commons from Conservative MP Andrew Sellers, who acts as a second Church Estates Commissioner. Mr. Sellers told the Commons, "This has been a deeply troubling time for the Bell family, and I'd like to pass on my heartfelt apologies for what's happened." In October, an exclusive Northern Echo investigation discovered that 7 more North East families had endured disturbing mix-ups in burying their loved ones, including a loved one who was buried where a footpath was due to go. So that's not great, is it?
No.
Rob, so there are 2 comments, but I'm going to read one of them out, Rob. The best one, by John Eastman. Sounds like the vicar had lost the plot. It's a pun.
Oh, can I just say that superb, Alex. What a beautiful comment to end that story with.
Okay, Rob, it is time to finish this episode, this Christmas special, listener story special, with this Christmas quiz you've prepared. So I'll try and get in the spirit. I'm not wearing a party hat or anything like that, but what you got, Rob? Come on.
Okay, well, Alex, I'm conscious that we've done a Christmas special without one featuring one single Christmas story. A real triumph there. So what I've done is I've looked online and then I found a Christmas quiz that I thought we could round off the episode with. It is taken from the Country Living magazine. There were originally 31 questions. Now that felt like too many to me, so I've taken it down to 15 plus a bonus question. So I thought I could test your knowledge of the season, Alex, by asking you these questions. And
do I need to write down my answers, Rob?
No, I'm going to try and mark as I go along.
Okay, yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so here we go. So the first question, Alex, is which country first started the tradition of putting up a Christmas tree?
I thought it was... For some reason, I think it's a Scandinavian country, but that could be because a lot of Christmas trees come from Norway, so I thought it was Norway.
Okay.
But, that's what I'm going with.
So that's incorrect. Unfortunately, it's Germany.
Oh, but it was kind of close.
Okay.
No?
Not really. So next question: how many ghosts show up?
No, yes, really. I didn't say Australia. I'm saying it's in that neck of the woods.
You bet, Alex. Germany's not a Scandinavian country.
No, but it's close to Scandinavia.
It's mainland Europe. That's the only thing that has in common.
Okay, well, it's part of the continent of Europe, Rob.
Okay, yeah, quite a big place.
I get half a point.
I'm not giving you half a point for that. Right. Next question. How many ghosts show up in A Christmas Carol?
Well, isn't it 3?
Is that your final answer?
Hang on. No, it isn't. He shows him, doesn't he? The ghost, there's the ghost of Christmas past, the ghost of Christmas present, the ghost of Christmas future. I hope it's not a trick question. There's some sort of extra ghost who tags along. But 3.
That's incorrect, unfortunately. The answer is 4. Because
4 because of Marley's ghost.
Because of Marley's ghost, yeah. I'm sorry, Alex. I
got it there. I got it before. I got it myself.
No, you did say 3, and we all heard it. It's on the record.
And then I said 4 very quick.
So that's unfortunately that you didn't get that right. Next question, and I'm hoping you get this. Where was the baby Jesus born, Alex? Not a trick question.
Bethlehem.
Yes. Slightly longer there than I anticipated.
Because it's Jesus of Nazareth, but was born in Bethlehem.
Oh, I see, right, yeah. Okay. Next question. What colour are mistletoe berries?
Fucking no. Holly berries are red, aren't they?
Yep, that's correct, yeah.
But I think mistletoe are green.
No, they're white, unfortunately.
For fuck's sake.
That's another one question there.
Shows how many times I've been kissed under the mistletoe.
Yeah, sadly so. Which fairy tale was the first gingerbread house inspired by?
Sorry, I wasn't even listening to the question. Which fairy tale was the first gingerbread house inspired by? Hansel and Gretel. Correct.
Next question. Where did the tradition of Christmas stockings come from?
Where does it come from?
Yeah.
I don't know how long this answer could be. I assume it's something to do with poor people who only had sort of filling up stockings with things. When you say where did it come from, do you mean what country, what era? What I don't understand.
It wasn't particularly clear. Do you know what? I'm going to give you it because it does say, so according to tradition, the original Saint Nicholas put gold coins in the stockings of 3 poor sisters, and you included the word poor, so I'm going to give you that.
Poor people. Poor people.
Yeah. Next question. What are the traditional 12 days of Christmas? So when does it start and when is it to?
Does it start 12 days before Christmas Day?
No, it doesn't. No, because that would be Advent. And this is where people get confused. If you like, I mean, do you have any thoughts?
What are the? I don't actually even know what the 12 days of Christmas are.
So the 12 days of Christmas are from the 26th, because obviously Christmas Day is Christmas itself. The 12 days of Christmas are the 26th to Epiphany, which is the 6th of January. So there you go.
What do they mark?
Christmas. Moving on. Well, I don't know. Well, Epiphany is obviously when supposedly the 3 kings arrive at the stable, because they weren't there on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve. They actually arrived on the 6th of January, supposedly. Next question, nice and simple. How do you say Merry Christmas in Spanish?
Any answer I give here will probably be offensive.
Just don't do it in a Spanish accent. That's all I'm asking.
I've got no idea.
Okay, well, it's everyone knows, as the song outlines, it is Feliz Navidad. I thought you would have got that, popular song.
What song?
Feliz Navidad. It's a great song. I'm wishing you a Merry Christmas. Feliz Navidad.
Oh yeah.
Feliz Navidad. Anyway, so the next few questions, the next 4 questions are about royalty, because I know you are a royalist, so I thought I'd throw this in just to...
okay, I'll start doing better now.
Okay. So, where does the royal family traditionally celebrate Christmas?
I want to say Balmoral, but my immediate answer was Sandringham.
It is Sandringham, Alex. I will give you that.
Come on!
You did technically say
what I should know
Balmoral.
about. Yeah. No, I didn't. I said my instinct is to say Balmoral, but my heart is saying Sandringham, and that's what I'm going to go with.
Okay, fair enough.
Listen.
The next question is, when did the royal family exchange their presents?
Right, well, they're from some sort of ancient German stock who probably do things differently. I think they probably do it on Christmas Eve, as some people in that part of the world do. So I think it's the 24th.
Correct. It is it's Christmas Eve.
Come see this. See, this is it. Right.
Yep. So it's kicking in now. So the next question: how many Christmas trees are in Buckingham Palace? And now I'll give you a clue. It's not as many as you'd think. Obviously, a big place.
But it's such a random question. Okay, 1.
No, it's 3. I'm sorry. The next question.
Holy shit! My neighbour has just gone out into her garden in a vest. It's fucking freezing.
Yeah, that's quite insane. Alex, we do have to get through this. What king was crowned on Christmas Day?
Can you give me any clues? How far back are we going?
The 10th century. Oh, 11th century, technically.
So I'm literally just plucking out names that sound royal. King Edward.
No, it was King William the First of England. Everyone knows that. How many mince pies are eaten in the UK every year?
What's that got to do with royalty?
Yeah, well, we've moved on from that.
So, Rob, how on earth am I meant to correctly guess how many mince pies are eaten in the UK?
Alex, I'll give you to the nearest 100 million.
It's got to be multiple choice. So it's the nearest 100 million. How many million people are there in the UK, first of all? About 70 odd, right?
Yeah, I think less than that.
So you ask me how many million... No, it's not less than that, Rob.
No, I don't
70
know.
million. It might even be more than 80 now. So let's say each person over Christmas has about 4 mince pies. I think 250 million... Hang on. 250 million.
No, it was 800 million. So I got that wrong. How many turkeys are eaten in the UK every year? To the nearest tens of million?
Tens of million?
Yeah.
Yeah, because not everybody has turkeys. So I'd say about 37 million.
No, it was 10 million. How many gifts are there in the 12 days of Christmas?
I don't even know what the 12 days of Christmas are. What gifts?
On
12.
the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me. So in total, across the 12 days, how many gifts were given?
12!
No, it's 365. Oh, sorry, 364 even. And
Sorry. What's doing 364 gifts are given over 12 days? Who's giving that? I've never received that.
No,
very expensive.
But in the 12 days of Christmas, in the song, because obviously it's the 12 drummers drumming or 11
Oh, I see.
people
That was
singing.
Right.
And the very last question on this quiz, Alex, is in what country has the most reindeer?
Norway.
Well, I can't. Unfortunately, that's not the answer that's been given here, because it does say, and you didn't specify this. It does say Southern Norway, the famous country of Southern Norway. So I can't accept that.
I got it right.
I can't accept that.
I got it right.
I mean, by the way, I've taken out the more obscure questions, but Alex,
So overall, I think I did very well.
Well, look, Alex, I think
because I got 2 right that you're not giving me. Quite clearly, the listeners will know this.
That's debatable. So out of the 15 questions I asked you, not including the bonus, but out of the 15, you got 5 correct, and also
No, 7.
I'll give you half a point for saying Norway, because obviously the answer is Southern Norway. So not very
Where's this
festive.
bonus question?
That was the bonus question, the reindeer question.
Oh, right, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Well, that was very enjoyable, Rob. Thank you. I'm sure the listeners enjoyed it too. We all learned something today.
Yeah, exactly, Alex. I'm glad.
We all learned about obscure sort of Latin festivals and the royal family.
One of the questions I took out is who invented the Christmas wreath? I mean, who the fuck is going to know that?
Well, I know that. That's sad because I know that. It was Christopher Wreath.
Oh, you did know. Oh, okay, fair enough, yeah. Impressive.
Anyway, look, we can be found on our website, LAPodcast.net. We're on Facebook, facebook.com/LAPodcast. We're on Twitter @LAPodcast. We're on Spotify, all those places. But please, listen, remember, if you want more local anaesthetic goodness, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/LAPodcast Extra to find our sister episodes, our sister podcast, LA Podcast, and Extra Jab, which is exclusively for people who sign up to become members of this podcast. And you will see now there is a tier there which will be there. We're getting rid of the £2 tier, and it's just going to be £1 a month, or whatever you want to pay. If you want to pay more than that, you can. It really help us out. And you will have access immediately to 35, 36 odd, I can't remember how many now, 37 odd LA Podcast and Extra Jab episodes, which can't be found anywhere else, so exclusive to Patreon. And of course, you will get 2 episodes drop into your inbox every single month, and that really helps us out. Helps us pay for the cost of running this podcast. Makes it all worthwhile. But Rob, I mean, when I was editing recently the last episode of LA Podcast and Extra Jab, I don't know how we're doing it, but if you look at our canon of episodes, like we're on 377 of the regular LA at the moment, I would already say that a good chunk of our top 20, top 10 are straight out of that LA Podcast and Extra Jab already.
There's some very strong episodes in there, yeah.
There's some very strong episodes in that pantheon, Rob, and we of course have the opportunity to cover stories which we might not be able to get away with on the regular LA, which of course makes it all worthwhile. And I've got one coming up, Rob, that was submitted by, I think it was kind of, that I can't read on the regular LA. I don't think I can get away with it, but I am going to read it on the LA Podcast and Extra Jab, and I can't wait because it's one of my favourite stories of all time. Thank you, Kai. But thank you to everybody who submitted stories. Don't be discouraged if they didn't get featured. We have to just pick the best. Please keep sending in your stories. Happy Christmas, everybody, and a Merry New Year, or whatever the fucking phrase is. We will be but do, if you haven't done it, immediately go over to Patreon and join up, and then you can hear our second, because we'll do that as a Christmas special as well. Can you find us another Christmas quiz, Rob, for the Extra Jab, and I can see if I can do better? I want to do better, Rob.
Yeah, I'm sure I can do that.
Thank you. God bless everybody.
And keep it local.
Local Anaesthetic Podcast is on Patreon, so go to patreon.com/LAPodcast Extra for access to our exclusive bonus episodes. You won't find them anywhere else. Here's a preview of what's coming up on the next LA Podcast, an Extra Jab.
Man offers puppies in buckets to strangers in street.
A bucket full of puppies. I don't want it as an episode title, but it does sound like a kind of album title by some kind of very schmoozy sort of sentimental artist. Like Barry Manilow, but just somebody really shit. I don't know. Like,
yeah, Barry Manilow as well. Well on as well. Yeah, you could maybe a Burt Bacharach, who I can imagine would have done an album called a bucket of puppies.
And it's a Christmas album. A bucket full of puppies.
Yeah, of course it is. Mum says she's been banned from the pub for having too many face tattoos. While some of her tattoos are professionally done, she likes to get the rest of her family involved. She has allowed partner Luke, 56, and 2 of her children who are in primary school to ink some of her.
Could we bring out our own Christmas board game in the tradition of all great hosts, and this one will be called Let's All Tattoo Mum Around the Christmas Tree. Okay. We'll work out how it works. It'd be good. I think that's a good idea there, isn't it?
Maybe it comes with like a Barbie doll that you could tattoo, and even takes it to tattoo. Or you could actually just do it to your mother,
or grandmother,
preferably while she's awake. Or wait till she's had just enough eggnog to fall asleep, and give it a go.
That'll be the follow-up. Let's tattoo grandma around the Christmas tree. It can go on and on, Rob. I mean, it's endless. This can be a real cash cow for us.